Hello, everyone. This year's last new moon, Capricorn new moon, is just one day before the new year starts. Although I always say that to me, this is really a little bit schizophrenic because nothing really starts on January 1st. Believe me, this is another arbitrary festival that the powers that be wanted us to use instead of the sacred New Year, which is, of course, the vernal equinox. But still, since we have to write 2024 instead of 2024, 2025, yes, we are going to look at the new year as well, the energy patterns. And this is a prelude, like a prelude, really like an entree into the new year, because just one day earlier, the energy pattern is very, very similar to what is going to happen at midnight on New Year's Day. So here's the Capricorn new moon, which is usually about uh, creating stuff on the physical level, construction, building walls and bases and whatever. And since the energy pattern includes Uranus very strongly, that is why I gave the title The Desire to Solidify in the Midst of Chaos, because you do have chaos. If you look around, you can see that there's chaos everywhere. And at the same time, new year, a new moon is always about a new beginning. And of course, the new year is always about something new. We can create something new. This particular chart for London, which is at 22:26, so it's like 10:26 p.m., has a Virgo rising with Mercury on the IC, and you have still the Mercury Jupiter opposition is kind of very separating. So I no longer really treat it as an opposition, but you see Jupiter on the midheaven as well, which is quite nice because it kind of suggests that we have a bright future. But this Jupiter is in detriment, retrograde, ruled by Mercury on the IC. So actually, this particular new moon for London is about what you create at home, how you think. But of course, Mercury is also in detriment. So kind of, it's not a very easy energy. Here you see the fourfold conjunction of the Sun Moon, Lilith. This is the asteroid Lilith, and Pallas Athena, the wise girl. And a day later, the Sun will be between Lilith and Pallas Athena, like in a sandwich. So the two strong feminine will kind of embrace the Sun. In this particular chart, it is still an applying conjunction between the Sun and Pallas Athena. And of course, a day later, the moon will be about 12 degrees, 12, 13 degrees away from this fourfold conjunction. And of course, the Aries Hygeia conjunction is getting stronger and tighter. Hygeia is the asteroid of sacred spaces and health, and and Aries means drastically altered outward circumstances. So there is this need to kind of put things in order, create a sacred space amidst of chaos. That's the main issue of by the way, of the space-time moment. And of course, the Chiron Aries conjunction, which is again doubly applying, will be exact next year, and this is going to be one of the most important karmic astrological aspects of 2025. There is a tensely dissolved opposition to the new moon. And there's also a fixed T-square and a mixed triangle, which is created by a slightly wide aspects. We are going to look at it in a minute, but let's take a look at the dissolved opposition. And Uranus, which is retrograde in Taurus, ruled by Venus in Aquarius, so they are in mutual reception, and also in a square. So Venus and Uranus are not very friendly to each other, to say the least, because Venus wants harmony and love, and Uranus wants freedom. So these are freedom urges, and at the same time, the wish to create some harmony in the midst of chaos. This is a T-square because there's also a Uranus-Astrea opposition. And actually, this is dissolved, this opposition is dissolved by the new moon energy. And Uranus has been disrupting our harmony and well-being and money and all kinds of security needs. And Astrea is the karma breaker, the fifth asteroid. So their opposition is applying for the new moon as well. You need to create something completely new amidst of the chaos by breaking old embedded karma. If you take a look at the energy patterns, because actually this is a tensely dissolved opposition, the opposition itself is a very tense energy. It's always like the enemy invading you. But, and of course, the sesquiquadrate, 135 degree, and the semi-quadrate, 45 degree, are also tense aspects. But take a look at the energies. The new moon is in Capricorn and Uranus is in Taurus. So this particular sesquiquadrate is in Earth energies, which means that it's a tension that can be resolved on the physical level, Earth. And also the sesquiquadrate is in harmonious signs because Scorpio and Capricorn are in sextile energy. So that's not so bad, not such a big harm, so to speak. But the T-square is a fixed T-square involving Venus, Uranus, and Astrea, at the apex of which is Venus. So that's a tense energy. So that's not very nice. But at the same time, it's also kind of dissolved by the Sun-Moon conjunction because there are two sesquiquadrates to it as well. And there's also a mixed triangle, and Ceres makes a quintile to Astrea. So the saving grace could be our nurturing principle and our home, the home, our homeland, our family, and the nurturing energy. But if we look at the transcendental celestial objects, which are very, very similar to what we have on New Year's Eve, and actually, on January 1st midnight, which I'm going to look at that chart, and also I'm going to hopefully create sometime. I'm going to be very busy in the next couple of days, and I'm also traveling away to visit a friend. But I will try to put together a New Year video for you. But anyhow, so these energies are going to be there as well. So on the Sun, Moon, Lilith triple conjunction, you have Arsinoe, who was an Egyptian princess of one of the Ptolemy dynasties, and actually it was the last of the dynasties of Ptolemy. So actually, she is a dynasty closing pattern. So we could say actually she was a half sister of Cleopatra, and we could say that an era is closing and a new era is going to set off. And Quawar is one of the TNOs, one of my favorite TNOs. It's the creator god of the California Tongva tribe, and it describes creating through dance and singing. And Pholus is a centaur. He's a very wise centaur, and it denotes two things: the buck stops here, and also something that comes back from 4 generations earlier. And of course, if you look at the glyph, Pholus's glyph, it's very, very similar to a bacteriophage. So it's quite fascinating. Probably they are cooking the powers that be are already cooking the next virus for us. On Pallas Athena, you have Victoria, Victory, and Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher, emperor of Rome. On Venus, you have Ishtar, and Ishtar or Inanna was Venus actually in Mesopotamian times, the war and love goddess. On Uranus, you have Hera, Zeus's wife. She was of course the queen of heaven, the mother of gods, but also the jealous wife energy. And Lempo, who was the creator god for the Finnish, and later on he became a demon in Christian times. So it symbolizes how a new era always demonizes the previous heroes and gods. And Capulus, which is 33 HVI Perseus, a nebula, the tip of the hilt of the sword of Perseus, and it is a masculine mystery school, and you can heal masculine wounds in this bird. And on Astrea, we have Sphinx, secret, Rhea, Kronos' wife, a mother goddess, but she's not the creator goddess. She's simply an era creating goddess. And Agena or Agena, which is Beta Centaur, and it represents healing through pain, or healing actually through painful lessons in life. That's what it symbolizes. Okay. Now, if we take a look at a little bit widen the orb, we all of a sudden find Neptune making a trine to Astrea. It's an applying trine, so we can actually, it's a little bit wide, but it's there. And what is happening also, it creates a mini engine with Venus, Neptune, semi-sextile, the square, and the trine. So that's also a dissolution. And what you can see, but not see yet, is one of next year's main astrological feature, the Neptune-Uranus sextile. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to talk about it when it becomes exact next year. And there's also Thor's hammer. The space-time moment's most important astrological aspect is the Saturn-Jupiter square. It's a mutable sign, so it means that you can let it go, you can resolve it, but it's the two destiny planets that are clashing with each other. And of course, Jupiter enlarges everything it touches, and Saturn contracts everything it touches. It gives you the structure, but also the burdens and the life lessons. And whenever these two planets get together, you need to learn proper balance. This is a square, so it gives you daily push, daily problems, issues. And Vesta, the focusing principle, is making a sesquiquadrate to both, creating a Thor's hammer, which is not a very easy configuration. But again, when you look at it, you can see that one of the sesquiquadrates is in trine energy. And luckily, it's the Jupiter Vesta. So you can actually focus on your luck energy in order to dissolve the proper balance. And there are not too many transcendental objects, only asteroids. Saturn doesn't have any. Jupiter has Amor, love, and Eurydice, which is love after death. And Vesta has Atlantis, so let's focus on the knowledge of Atlantis in this space-time moment. And there's also a crown, which will be there on the January 1st, January 1st chart as well. So it's quite prominent, with Mars-Pluto opposition and the nodal axis, creating a mystic rectangle. And then the crown jewel is Sedna, creation through dissection. Mars-Pluto is not a nice aspect. Mars is of course, is the war god, but also besides war and aggression and violence, it also means open fire, destruction in many ways. And also, of course, it's the lesser malefic in the traditional astrology. In Leo, it's quite strong, but it's retrograde. And its higher octave is Pluto, which is never the open enemy, never the open fight, but some kind of manipulation. It's the power behind the apparent power. And when these two planets clash, it's not a nice energy. And then, of course, the nodal axis, which is ready to move ready to leave the sign Aries and Libra, and then move into Pisces and Virgo. But we still have 2 more weeks before they move. They actually move into those signs on the 12th of January. So we still have we can still learn how to fight. So this North Node in Aries signifies Please learn to fight for yourself, for your loved ones, what is important to you. And Mars is ruling this trine to the North Node. So that's quite powerful, I think. And the transcendental celestial objects, again, there are not too many. On Mars, there's none. On the North Node, you have Laocoon, who was the Trojan person who warned against the wooden horse created by the Greeks, who took, the Trojans took it into the town, and this is how their downfall started, because the horse had soldiers in it, and they simply killed everyone there. So it's the symbolizing of carnage. On the south node, there is Clotho, the first one of the fates who is creating the thread of your life. Diomedes, there are many Diomedes in Greek history, but one of them is the Thracian king who has the man-eating horses. Another one is, again, the hero, one of the heroes of the Trojan War. They're usually solar heroes, very masculine, very powerful, and quite strong. And Kagara is a TNO. He's an African hero who is fighting for her wife, utilizing the power of the elements. And there's also the Galactic Center, which in karmic astrology denotes the issue, the problem of nothing is ever enough. And on Pluto, you have Asclepius and Ptah. Asclepius is healing, and Ptah is the creator god of the Egyptians. And on Sedna, you have Pelion, Mors Somnus, and the Pleiades, something that has been there for quite a while and will be there for quite a while. And the moon, in this particular new moon, is very out of bounds, really very out of bounds. I didn't recreate this picture. I used this in my Hungarian video. So this is the celestial equator. This is the winter equinox position. This is where the sun was 9 days ago. And you can see that the moon is very out of bounds, 28 degrees. So way out to the south. If you were up in the past couple of days and you live where you can see the sun, the sky, you could see in the small hours that the moon, the waning moon, waning crescent moon was very, very beautiful up there, very to the south, and quite bright. Okay, so this is the Capricorn new moon. Utilize it well. Try to build some new security in the midst of chaos, because that is what the powers that be are creating for us. And we need to fight back in a way that we kind of try to secure what's important to us. That is what this particular Capricorn moon is about. Happy new moon, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.